In today's edition of Milwaukee Bucks Daily, the Bucks look to build on their cathartic Game 3 victory from Friday night. We wonder whether they can do it all again for Game 4 on Sunday afternoon, and much, much more. After their refreshing and dominating Game 3 win over the Celtics on Friday night, it's very easy to draw parallels between the spot the Bucks are in now in their playoff run this year compared to last year's, despite being down 2-1 currently. With that, the Bucks are aware of how pivotal it is for them to maintain this level of play heading into Game 4, especially with the Celtics likely being more prepared to handle any look the Bucks roll out, both tactically and in terms of personnel. Like you can each and every day, keep on coming by here to Behind the Buck Pass to get the latest coverage, analysis and post-game reactions that relates to both the Bucks and the Wisconsin Herd. If you find an article, podcast, a piece of news that you think should be included in the next edition of the Daily, contact us on Twitter at @BehindTheBucks or by email at Email Protected. Back to the present, let's look at today's Bucks stories. Best of Behind the Buck Pass from April 21, 18 Milwaukee Bucks, takeaways from 116-92 Game 3 win over Boston Celtics. Read here, Will Wang recaps the Bucks' exhilarating Game 3 victory over the Boston Celtics from Friday night. Milwaukee Bucks, grades from 116-92 Game 3 win over Boston Celtics. Read here, Adam Mega handed out grades, taking a look at the individual performances from the Bucks, head coach Joe Prunty, and what the Celtics had to offer as well from Game 3. Win in 6 Podcast 206, the Sheriff lays down the law in Game 3. Read here, Adam and I convened to go over the Bucks' Game 3 victory over the Celtics in their first round series and all the elements and performances that made it a game to remember in the latest edition of Win in 6. Best of Bucks across the internet from April 21, 18 1 year later, Bucks back in familiar position heading into Game 4. Read here, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Matt Belafketh looked at the elements of the Bucks' play in Game 3 while also touching on how they hope to learn from a similar spot they were in during the playoff run last year going into Game 4. D'Amato, the Bucks were magnificent, but can they do it again? Read here, also of the Journal-Sentinel, Gary D'Amato wrote about the Bucks' commanding performance in Game 3 while wondering if it was possible that this uneven squad can replicate the same elements again heading into Game 4. Bucks guard Dellavedova happy to play key role in Game 3 victory. Read here, Belafketh, along with Ben Steele of the Journal-Sentinel, touched on the role Matthew Dellavedova played in the Bucks' Game 3 win over the Celtics from Friday night, as well as other notes from the media availability following their practice session Saturday afternoon. The sequence that sealed and summed up Game 3. Read here, Alex Boda of Bucks.com highlighted on a key sequence the Bucks compiled that was indicative of their smothering and disruptive defensive effort all throughout Game 3. Milwaukee Bucks, 3 takeaways from Game 3 versus Celtics. Read here, Matthew Hallett over at Hoops Habit offered his 3 biggest takeaways from the Bucks' Game 3 win over the Celtics from Friday night. That's it for today's roundup, but we'll be back to do it all again tomorrow.